Hi second graders, we are back on Thursday with our math video for today, and I have brought this giant teaching clock back so that you have a chance to see a clock up in person and you can see all the numbers on it as well. So far this week we learned about telling time to o'clock, that straight up, that hour hand. We talked about telling time to 30 minutes when it's pointing down low, but today we're going to talk about all of these other numbers on the clock and what they represent, okay? Now, we already talked about how these big red numbers are on every clock. They might not be red, but they are visible. And they only tell us what the hour hand is. So we already know that when the minute hand was on the 12, we know that's o'clock. And when the minute hand is on the 6, we actually know that that's 30 minutes. But we need to figure out all the other numbers on the clock and what they represent, because even though they're on our teaching clock, they're not going to be on every clock. Now, I know how to skip count by fives. Do you?
I sure do.
Could I hear it?
You sure can. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60.
Stop. I don't want you to go any farther. You can unfreeze, just stop.
Why?
Well, because there's only 60 minutes in an hour. And we don't really need to count any farther than that on a clock.
It just starts over after that.
Yeah,
like
then
at
it's
0.
a new hour and
Okay.
we start again.
Okay.
So let's take a look. I'm going to move the hands on the clock and I'm going to put it on the number 1.
Okay.
So-
The minute hand, right?
The minute hand, thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to put this minute hand directly on the 1.
Okay.
Now, the biggest mistake that I see students make in second grade is that they remember the hour hand is 3 and they immediately want to say, oh, it's 3:01.
Uh-huh.
They want to read this number as the minutes, and it doesn't work like that.
Oh.
In fact, this 1 has made 5 minutes past. So these little dots, it's gone 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, all the way to 5 minutes.
Wow.
So by the time the minute hand is on the 1, our time is actually 3:05. Now I want you to watch. I'm going to slowly move this, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to move it by minutes. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, and now I'm going to stop
10.
on the 2. Yeah, so now our time says 3, it's not 02. Our time is now 3:10 because we are skip counting by fives each number. On the 1 it was 5 minutes, on the 2 it was 10 minutes. What do you think it's going to be when we get to the 3?
15.
It's going to be 15 minutes. And then we're going to keep going. When we get to the 4, it would be 3:20. If we got to the 5, it's going to be 3:25. And you already know what happens when we get to the 6. What time is it?
3:30.
Yeah, check out that hour hand. It continues to move just a little bit each time. All right, I'm going to give you another one, Mrs. Grant. I'm going to move it 5 more minutes. The minute hand is on the 7. What time, what does that clock show?
This is an easy one to do it on because it tells me that
Okay.
it's 6:35.
We'll make it trickier.
I'm wondering if we could use the black one.
She wants the other clock.
I'm ready for a challenge.
All right.
Okay?
She wants to challenge herself.
Yeah. Okay, you set it up and then you tell me what to do and I'm gonna do it.
All right, I'm gonna start with something you should know.
All right, so this is not the cheating teaching clock that
It's
has all
not.
the minutes on here. I have to use my noggin to figure this out.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I know this is shorter. The shorthand is between the 1 and the 2, so it's still 1,
Yep.
and it's at straight down, so that's 1:30. It's 1:30. 1:30.
Very good. Now, you already knew that from yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you one that is maybe a little harder.
Okay, that's definitely harder. So I still see that the hour hand is between the 1 and the 2, so it's still in the 1s.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to use my knowledge of skip counting, starting at the 1, skip
Mhm.
counting by 5s.
Let's see it.
5, 10, 15, 20. So it's 1:20.
Very good. I
Yes.
love that you skip
I
counted
did.
in order to get your answer. I'm going to experiment and see if I can make a harder one.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I'm going to keep my hour hand. I'm not going to try to make it too hard.
Okay. we do want to tell you that the closer you get over here in these big numbers with your minute hand, the closer the hour hand is going to get to that next number. So it's not 2 yet. We're still in the ones. It's still in between the 1 and the 2, even though it's close. So it's still 1. I don't know. I have not memorized this yet, so I'm going to skip count by 5s. But I'm going to use something that I already know to help me.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a trick. I know that when this minute hand is pointed straight down, that it's at the 30. So if I start at the 6, if I start at 30 here and I keep skip counting by 5, it's going to be easier.
Okay.
So if this was 30, 35, 40.
Good job.
Aha.
All right. We can make it a little harder.
Okay. That is hard. Okay. So I could do my thing of skip counting by 5s all the way around. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Or I could use the other trick I taught you guys where I know if the minute hand is straight down, I could jump straight to the 30 and then skip count by 5s till I get here. So 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So I'm at 150. 150.
How did you know that it was 150 though? It looks like it's almost pointing
does.
to the 2.
But it's not on the 2 yet, and it's not after the 2 yet.
Oh,
This is where it gets tricky, right here when the minutes are over here, because it is so close to that 2.
yeah, I bet that if it were to move up to the 11, it would probably get even a little.
That's so close. But you know what, Miss Marquardt?
Yeah.
I know that when that hour hand is pointed directly at the number, it has to be o'clock. So if this minute hand is not straight up,
Now tell me.
and this is really close, I know that I'm still before it. I'm
Okay.
not at 255, because 255, this guy would be almost at the 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's not quite on the 2 yet, and they're number neighbors, we know that it's still on the number before.
Yeah.
This is definitely something that is going to take some practice
It's really difficult.
and getting
Yes.
used to. And you know what? Today is Thursday, right? So tomorrow is another great day that we are going to have you practice telling time. And I think even next week, we're going to go back and revisit telling time to the 5 minutes so that you can get more. How about I give you one more practice problem on the clock, and then we can take a look at the worksheet.
I'm ready. All right.
Let's see. I'm going to try and do...
All right. So I'm going to start with my hour hand. My short hand is pointed between the 8 and the 9, so it's still 8. Okay. Now I'm going to write that down. It's 8 colon. And now I'm going to look at my minute hand, and I'm going to start at the 1 and skip count by 5s.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20. So it is 8:20.
Very nice.
When we get to the actual page that we're going to do, I'm going to show the kids something that I usually teach my second graders. It's a kind of a cheat sheet if you need it, but it's pretty helpful.
That's like a hook.
I know. It's a hook.
All right, let's take a look.
Okay. Can I just jump right into my cheat sheet thing? Because you don't have to do this for everyone. But
Jump in.
Even if you just do this little cheat on one of the clocks, you can go and use it and it'll help you.
Okay.
So I know that teaching clock had all those minutes around. So I tell my students, and I bet you tell your students the same thing, that you can write in those minute hands above on the outside of the clock. So you know how we taught you to skip count by 5s for the minutes? So the 1 is 5 minutes. So if we write those, 5, the 2 is 10, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 7 is 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. You do have to remember though that we don't ever write 60 on there. It's
We
0,
don't.
0. That's kind of confusing. But these are really helpful so that if you do this, you'll know that this hour hand is pointed between the 2 and the 3. So I know it's still 2.
Got it.
Gotta write my colon, my 2 dots. And now I'm looking at my minute hand, which is pointed at the 8. And I don't have to go back and skip count by 5s if I don't want to. I can look and see that it's 8:40. Okay?
240.
I mean 2:40, not 8:40. My bad. 2:40. Okay? But you can also use the method of just skip counting by fives. You want to do that? And
Sure.
if you didn't want to draw it all the way around the clock, you can do what Miss Marquardt's going to show you right now.
All right, so I'm going to start with that shorthand, which is the hour hand, and I'm noticing that it's pointed almost on the 8, just a tiny little bit over, so it's still in the hour of 8. So I'm going to write 8 with my colon, and now I'm going to check my minute hand. Well, I don't want to write all of that out, so I'm going to start my skip counting on the number 1, that's the first number, by fives. 5, 10, 15. All right, so the time is going to be 8:15.
Very good.
All right, let's see if there's anything
Tricky on here?
tricky. Let's take a look at the bottom. We do have a problem-solving question that says, draw the minute hand to show the time, then write the time. So they've already given us the hour hand. We just need to draw the minute hand and then fill in the digital clock. It says, my hour hand points between the 4 and the 5.
Okay, they did that for us.
It's like right in the middle there.
Yep.
My minute hand points to the 9. What time do I show? Well, I think that we need to draw that minute hand all the way to the 9, and then we need to figure out what time it is.
Yep.
Well, we know that it's between the 4 and the 5. It has not got to the 5 yet. So I know that the hour is still 4, and then I need to use my skip counting all the way around to the 9 to get my answer.
We're going to let you guys do that.
I know.
We're not going to do it for you.
No, I think we
You
got
thought
them
we were
set
going to
up.
answer it. No.
We don't just give answers around here.
Every time, sometimes.
No.
Not all
But it should be like 4 something.
the time. It's definitely still 4.
All right, there is a back. I just want to make sure that we are not missing anything in our work. It looks like the next 6 clocks, you need to do the same thing. You're reading the clock and then just writing the digital time. And then on the bottom, you need to do the reverse.
Ooh.
But what are you noticing?
They did the hour hand for us, which is hard to do. So I'm glad that they did that. All we have to do is the minute hand. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, you just need to look at the number to the right of the colon. This one is 25, and you need to think, okay, which number on the clock represents 25 minutes? Well, I can just skip count to figure that out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
So the 5.
So I need to draw my minute hand to the 5. And that's it.
Good job.
And I think the only thing that I want to add, Mrs. Grant, we talked about this at the beginning, but this is something that students don't always master, I'll say. The first day that we start teaching this, it really does take time. And I think yesterday you mentioned how their parents know how to tell time. Maybe their older brother and sister know how to tell time. This takes time to learn time. You have to practice and you need to get used to it. So today's worksheet might be kind of tricky. It might be something that you need a little bit more practice on over the weekend. It might be something that takes a couple weeks for it to completely sink in, and that's okay. All right, we're gonna keep practicing and you'll definitely be able to do it.
All right.